The 199 is coming was a live stream by Kevin Abstract. And if I didn't say that, instead started this with, I watched a guy who ran on a treadmill for 10 hours, you'd probably wonder what was going on with me as far as my mental faculties and things like. Now, again, while the initial statement sounds very mundane and boring, it actually was a pretty surreal experience, and I would like to say that that can be attributed to not only Kevin and his sort of visionary like ideas, but also the cinematography on this was impeccable and amazing. And I am just so impressed by how they were able to shoot this for 10 hours straight without too many problems. There was a bit of lag here and there, but other than that, there wasn't anything too bad going on as far as the shooting and the angles and stuff like that. Now, initially, when I first saw the 199 thing, it was kind of like, okay, he did mention this in his own solo thing. Would that be tied to anything Brockhampton? And though I only saw a tweet from Brockhampton, I didn't see a tweet from him or anything about that. So I click on it, like I'm like, oh God, new song, new album, what? Can we get new? I mean, like, I'm cool like y'all not, because I know you said you're working on it, but if you want to surprise me with one, I'll take it. No, that is not what was happening. Kevin was walking on the treadmill, and I was kind of like, okay. And I wasn't home, so I couldn't really, like, talk about it. But when I did get home, it turned into this enthralling experience, and I did not expect to be magnetized to the point that I had to watch until the end. I was like, he's just walking on the treadmill, you know. And, you know, to see him still there, it was like, oh my God. And then, now he did take bathroom breaks, which is good, because walking on a treadmill for 10 hours, which is already going to make your legs just turn into jello, if not dust. And so it was good to know that he was doing that. But the interesting thing that this spawned was a huge kind of ferocious debate between certain people in the fan base. And the focus was pretty much Kevin's well-being. Now, people were arguing and they kind of devolved in two sides. Pretty much, if you were asking for a signature or any kind of picture to commemorate the moment, you were kind of this devilish person that wasn't really looking for the empathy that Kevin seemed to be trying to teach people. Because the tagline that was resting on his back and on the album's promotion, Arizona Baby specifically, that was one of them. Teach me empathy. So people kind of became very, frustrated with those who'd ask him for signatures or pictures. And so they kind of theorized that potentially the lesson that he was trying to teach through this performative art piece was empathy and understanding that Kevin was a human being. However, on the other side, there was people who felt as though Kevin asked for this. He literally said where he was. He knows he's huge. He understands this. He probably was going for this kind of thing and probably does enjoy interacting with his fans to a certain extent, obviously. I think there were certain moments where he would kind of throw his hoodie up, and I don't know the guy, so I couldn't say, but he might have been getting a bit anxious as far as like those moments are concerned. But I found that the more interesting things was what Kevin was saying. And also, this does give some context to his solo project, Arizona Baby, specifically the song Corpus Christi. Now, I did not know Corpus Christi, Texas was literally where he grew up, and his hometown house was over there. So it does give a lot of context to that song. It actually makes it a lot more striking, especially the line about being on the front lawn. And here he is on his front lawn surrounded by a multitude of fans that only continued to amass as the time went on. I think it started with one or two people like, hey, Kevin Abstract, what's up? And then it turned into oh my God, it's Kevin Abstract, and everybody showing up and him taking the time to sign. And the thing that he really pushed was people trying to explain the purpose of what they were doing. And or somebody said that they were chasing their dreams, he told them to continue to do so. He really didn't try to deter anyone from anything other than, dude, this is the only thing that really made me uncomfortable, even though I didn't see it. I watched it later. Shout out Brockhampton's Reddit. It's really good at, capturing certain moments. So if you didn't see them, basically, there was this weird dude, right? And he's just like, can I kiss your shoulder, Kevin? And naturally, Kevin's like, no. And the guy was just like, maybe another time. That was the only moment that was weird. But anyway, the main thing that I really liked was, or at least was interesting to me, was Kevin talking about the fact that we all, he wasn't really saying we, but he was more saying himself. He is constantly on this treadmill. He's been on this treadmill since he started making music since 2005. He has been constantly working, and what makes this even more interesting, and I think alludes to a bigger point, because the empathy point is kind of there. Like, I get it from both sides. Yes, people should show him empathy if he's literally tired on a freaking treadmill, kind of like literally crawling. That might not be the best time to ask for a signature. And I think he did appreciate those moments where people did want to talk to him. But also, there was empathy in people who were bringing him water and bringing him food. It wasn't like it was just literally constantly people just like sign this and picture that. It did get to a point where, oh my God, if it was me, I would have tapped out. I can't. Just can't. There was like so much noise and stuff like that, but the fact that he was able to handle that and take some bathroom breaks that probably gave him a moment to like kind of recharge himself, recharge his batteries a little bit, that was good. Really glad that happened. The fact that when he did take those bathroom breaks and he let people get on the treadmill, I think that alluded to this idea of the fact that we are all constantly working. Even if people didn't like the fact that other people were trying to get stuff signed, it is kind of tying to this bigger point that we all kind of enjoy adulation to a degree. There are things about being praised that really can't be replicated through just, everyday life. Sometimes it's just nice to have that kind of thing, but beyond just like the adulation that was surrounding Kevin, the idea of also we're all also constantly working. There's never kind of a time or place, at least with this generation, it has kind of been driven into us that we have to work until we're dust. And I think there has been pushback from other artists and other people of our generation who have explained like, hey, if you're working to death, you can't even enjoy the thing you're doing. You can't really embrace it or have fun with it or really be creative because you can get burned out. And I just thought that was a nice little point that maybe might have been missed. The idea that the treadmill is something that is constant for all of us. It's not necessarily just Kevin. Now, obviously, Kevin as a celebrity has different trials and tribulations that he goes through on his windmill, such as people wanting to sign things because, oh my God, Kevin Abstract signed this, or Kevin Abstract took a picture with me. And I think that to some degree it did get like the special kind of moment of like interacting with someone who's really meant a lot to you. It might have gotten a bit atrophied because of the fact that there was like, it was done in such a consistent volume and there was like always like someone else who wanted a signature, wanted a picture. So that did kind of get debilitating a little bit. But again, like I said, the thing that I really took away from the scenario was kind of that idea that we're all on our own treadmills. It's just that this is Kevin's treadmill, and it does kind of talk about the fact that celebrities aren't necessarily seen as humans. Sometimes they're looked at as commodities for someone else's kind of impressing your friends moment or something along those lines. All that for a drop of clout, those type of memes. So I understand where people were coming from with that, and I do agree, but not to 100% like, oh, they're all devilish, because to some people, it's a meaningful moment to really be able to just like capture that memory and have it held. But I guess for me personally, it's hard to really say how I would act, so I don't want to like just say that they're all demons just like not caring for Kevin. Again, some situational like understanding would be nice, and being able to like see like, hey, he's literally dying right now. I mean, he probably wasn't dying, but he was pretty damn tired. Like, he had been walking on a treadmill for hours, and all the people who came out kind of knew that. So again, I understand like you want to capture that memory. So at the end of the day, I can't really like, again, demonize people for literally meeting the guy who they really, really look up to or really, really like and wanting to capture that in some way. Again, situational awareness would have been cool, but you can't have it all. Other than the weird moment with the kiss your shoulder guy, there were a lot of wholesome moments that were littered throughout here, such as the Sonny guitar player guy who pretty much did the coolest cover of, okay, well, not the coolest, but it's the only cover I've ever heard of 1999 Wildfire, and it was pretty good. And then like, and it was cool because Kevin was like, he was hearing it and sort of like, he was not egging him on, but kind of just like saying, yeah, like he was inviting these people to have these moments to really showcase themselves. And again, that's kind of a sort of empathetic thing, understanding that his platform as he's gotten bigger has allowed him to really give someone else some shine. And it was cool to hear like Sonny do his own song as well, and I thought it was pretty beautiful. So I might go find him on Spotify's and SoundClouds. I'll probably try and link it in here for those who did not get to catch that. that moment. Now, other moments, there was also another girl who sung a song in Spanish. And I don't know what it was, but someone in the chat said it was Rosalia. So Rosalia got a beautiful voice, and this lady had a beautiful voice, so it was pretty nice. Again, there was a guy who talked about being an author. That was cool. There was a guy who talked about how we should pay attention to parks because they do contribute to that, and it was. He was asking Kevin about it and trying to, probe as to like if this park didn't exist, would Brockhampton exist? And then Kevin let him get on the treadmill and explain his thing. And I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. Like, I didn't even think about that, maybe because personally I don't really stay in the same place too much, but hearing the idea that this parks can contribute to how a person's future might play out is insane to think about. Now, my favorite moments, Kevin mentioned that he sat on when Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon got leaked, the first one apparently, Man on the Moon 1, that's what he said. He went outside, looked up to the stars, and kind of just listened to that whole thing. And the end is like this crazy, because you gotta imagine as a kid, he's probably by himself outside just listening to this, looking up at the stars. When he finally finishes running on this damn treadmill, he collapses to the ground. And first I was like, oh my god, did he just die? And then they get a shot of him just gassed, completely done at this point. He hasn't even tweeted since this happened, but completely gassed, just looking up at the sky. And again, the cinematography on this was excellent, and that was a sick moment. But then other shot where he's collapsed, but it's from behind him, and it just has this crowd just watching him and just cheering, and just man, there's just nothing more beautiful than seeing him sort of have a similar moment. He wasn't really listening to music, he was just tired out of his mind. But the way that his hometown not necessarily his hometown embraced him, but the way that he was getting this adulation, and the way that everyone was around him and just celebrating him, and him just being kind of just exhausted, finally getting this rest and just having that appreciation for that. Also the fact that Corpus Christi is his hometown, and him constantly working all started here. And it's kind of interesting to think how our treadmills, when we're done running them, will we be celebrated? Who knows? And maybe it's not about being celebrated. Maybe it's just about making stuff for our own enjoyment. Probably, most likely, yes. Now, the best moment to me, you would say, wait, you didn't like that? That finale was enough? No, I actually liked the moment just before that. So he was around the 15-minute mark, and they're starting to push people back, because Kevin thought it'd be a great idea to have everyone isolated. Well, the director came up, this guy came up, he's like, hey, what if we have you isolated? He was like, that would be sick. So they're getting everybody to move back. And the crowd starts singing songs from his album. Oh my god. You would say, oh man, typically, I guess in a movie it would feel cheesy because it would feel like it was forced, but the crowd just started to sing all these different songs. They did Baby Boy, they tried to do these different songs. Not everybody knew all the lyrics, but they start singing Baby. They get to the second half part where the chorus comes in, and it's that's what you told me, and I got goosebumps, dude. I was wait, what? It has this emotional flair that I can't even really put into words, and it was incredibly emotional and impactful just seeing that crowd kind of unify, because there were a lot of moments where they would kind of cheer him on and they would stop, it would die out. But this moment of kind of unifying the artist on his treadmill as he's working to probably constantly, bring out more stuff for them, and them coming together to appreciate him in his moment of pure exhaustion and adrenaline. And then I think the thing that really got me was when Kevin himself started singing it a little bit. He was tired, so I get it. He's not gonna, but you hear him very quietly, just and I was like, I'm gonna break. Oh, the river's gonna come out. The river's just gonna, obviously when he finished, I just was like this. I was like, yes, he did it. And then he fell, and I was like, oh my god, is he dead? And then he wasn't dead, and it was great. But that just right there was one of the most, that was my favorite moment, hearing him kind of try to sing his own song as the crowd is singing to him as he's almost there, they're rooting for him, and you can feel this pure energy, just positivity that really happens when you unify. Also, almost forgot, there was a moment where a mom came to him and just straight up just gave him like the business in terms of like saying like how wonderful he was doing, how great, like just really showing him this kindness and expressing to him that he was really an inspiration to the generations around him, and the fact that he was doing this was really a positive thing and really affecting people in a good way. And I just like that someone gave him that. I mean, there were other people that did give him that, but she really, like, she just went in, and that was awesome to see. Yeah, the 199 10-hour live stream with Kevin Abstract running on a treadmill, and I did not think it would spawn anything crazy. I just was like, initially I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, this is the best years of our lives album, and that was a theory that I pretty much had thrown in the trash because I was like, it wouldn't relate to that, and it didn't, because I kind of figured out that it wouldn't, because he was kind of talking about Arizona Baby and referencing those type of stuff and talking about how his career was a treadmill. His career was a treadmill. So yeah, figured that out pretty quickly. But yeah, this performative art piece, which also was spawned by Shia LaBeouf. You can thank Shia LaBeouf and having a conversation with Kevin Abstract about this for the reason that this happened. And again, it's just so dope to see that like there were moments of unification. There were some tense moments. It was an enthralling experience that you don't expect when you first click on it, and it's like Kevin walking and you're like, okay, what is the meaning of this? And like I said, I came home and it was like 5, and I finished watching at midnight Eastern time, Western time, and they'll have gifts, and it was just like amazing. So yeah, Kevin Abstract, dude, you're dope. I appreciate you a lot. And also, yeah, please, hopefully, I'm sure you're getting some rest at this point. Yeah, it really does mean a lot what you do, and I think that you have like, you know, really carved out your own space in the rap and music game, and I personally really appreciate what you bring to the table. And regardless of whatever music or whatever things you make next, I'm most definitely gonna check it out. You've got a huge fan in me and a huge contingent of others, and your work is always appreciated. And I hate that you're, you know, stuck in this like you talked about how like things went downhill for you, and I hate the fact that, you know, there are struggles that you have that probably no fan can really, you know, save you from as much as like you can. And I'm just glad that you have a really good support system around you with like Dom and Joba and the band and Peep and your boyfriend, and I just wish you the best as a human being, because you have definitely impacted a lot of people's lives. So please, please, please get some rest if you aren't already, and just know that you are a wonderful human being and we appreciate you. So I still don't know what the 199 is, but that's okay. Like, well, I'm sure figure it out. It's here apparently. It's already here. Is it on the clock? Oh. Well, this guy says, empathy is something important, and I'm gonna try and display it here. There's been this obscure movie that everybody's been talking about for some reason, that they're super hype about, something about a game, an ending, and Avengers. Never heard of it personally, but it seemed a little interesting, and I was curious about seeing it. However, unfortunately, the details were revealed to me before I could see it. So, since that's happened, I am going to still try and watch it at some point, but, you know, I hope those who did it, I hope they have a good day, and I hope that they are able to experience joy.